Today is one of a really interesting day because as we're filming this, it's rainy and it's cold, and my grandmother always said, come in out of the weather, you're going to catch your death of cold. Is there any truth to that at all? We're going to be talking about the flu season. We're going to be talking about what is it that causes the flu, what can we do to treat it. A lot of just a good discussion about it. And in the studio with me today is Dr. Shola, who is here studying epidemiology from Nigeria. You're going to be going back once you've completed your studies and hopefully do some work as far as helping others fight infectious diseases, right?
Yes, I will.
That is, what an amazing undertaking. And also is Dr. Richard Lane, who is a practicing physician and director of the public health program at Liberty. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you guys for
Thanks
stopping
for
by
having
and
us.
being here.
Thank you.
All right, so let's just jump right in. We are in what I've heard is just a horrible flu season. Is that right? I mean, is this...
That is correct. It is a bad one.
Is it worse than normal, or are we just getting a lot of hype from the media telling us it's worse?
This one is a little bit worse than the last few years,
Okay.
but certainly not the worst one we've ever had.
Okay.
Everybody remembers Spanish influenza from history back in 1918, killed
Okay.
100,000 or more people. That was worse.
Now, is it because at the time our medicine wasn't able to combat it as well as we are now, or is it because other factors?
Well, the answer is yes and no. Certainly we didn't have medications back then. We did not have vaccines back then. In fact, back then we didn't even know what a virus was.
Right. Okay.
And in fact, that particular epidemic led to a lot of the research that began to identify viruses and led to the development of vaccines for a lot of different diseases,
Okay.
which we've now pretty much eliminated from the United States anyway.
Okay.
But there were perfectly healthy people, and I remember reading a story about a fella in San Francisco who was perfectly healthy, started feeling bad as he hopped onto a trolley and died on the trolley.
Now, I've heard that story too,
Yeah.
but that's real?
That is an actual
story.
story.
So, okay, what makes the flu a more serious, and if I may say so, a deadly situation than just a bad cold? What's the difference?
Some of them are definitely more what we call virulent, stronger, more pathology associated with them. And this particular strain seems to be one of those that's kind of in that direction. A lot of people who are relatively healthy, not really struggling a whole lot, and then they wake up and suddenly they can't breathe. Having to breathe more quickly or more deeply or more heavily, certainly an issue. When you're laying down, get more coughing. That's an indicator that you've got a problem
Okay.
with air exchange, because if you're coughing a lot, it means that your lungs are filling up with fluid. Good news is most people get through the flu perfectly well.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we talk public health, we talk about levels of prevention.
Yeah.
Primary prevention is never getting the disease in the first place.
In our environment, unless you're wrapped in plastic and you never step outside, I don't think that that's a possibility, is it?
Well, there's some steps you can take to prevent yourself
Right.
from getting this.
Okay.
Right.
So bathe in Purell
And actually,
every opportunity.
we don't recommend bathing in Purell. Really?
Okay, maybe that's why you're a doctor and I'm not.
Certainly, Purell is a good thing to use on the hands if you've just shook somebody's hand and you're
Right.
walking out, and particularly if they go, "Oh, I forgot to tell you I'm sick." In fact, I would tell you that I picked up the flu this season, despite having the vaccines, in spite of washing my
Right.
hands and doing all the right stuff.
Right.
My daughter is a performer. She was at a show. She picked up an illness from people coming up from the public, hugging on her and
Right.
kissing on her, and oh, I just love your music. Okay, that's great.
Have some flu while you're at it.
Except
That's
she
awesome.
came home to see mom and dad. Oh, I'm so glad I can see you guys hug, kiss.
Uh-huh.
By the way, I got the flu. Will you take care of me? We were doomed.
It's like, yes, we will take care of you. Not
because
exactly appreciating what it
Anybody's immune system can be
Yeah.
overrun if you have a high enough exposure.
Wash your hands.
So wash your hands. Avoid
careful.
kissing people that are sick.
Right.
Hugging people that are sick.
Not-
Kind of goes without saying.
Okay, so you've done all this.
You've done all this.
You still get sick.
You still get sick. And
Now
it
what do you
happens. We're just basically 3 feet apart here. Just breathing. We can. The good news is I'm over the flu now. just breathing, you can actually transmit the virus
Yeah.
3 feet worth.
Right.
And a good cough, about 10 feet.
Oh, awesome, because I was
So,
in
you know,
a
that
vehicle.
whole thing, I won't touch you without a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. One of our staff members has been fighting it, and we were confined to a vehicle just not too long ago, so
That's when I make
Awesome.
the magic, you know, treat
Yeah.
him like a vampire. Stay back.
Doesn't work, does it?
It doesn't work.
what course of action is there? There are, the internet is rampant
Yeah.
with home remedies. The first thing, and we've even talked about this, we did a quick segment on this about apple cider vinegar. You
Yeah.
take it with a glass of water, or somebody said tomato juice.
Yeah.
I did some reading, and it says it may be okay for helping with digestion, but other than that,
Yeah.
Does it do
really
anything?
doesn't do much of anything.
Really?
There are no studies that say that it prevents any infectious disease.
well, okay. Now the other one was, I believe, elderberry syrup, where you mix that down, and that's going to cure everything.
Yeah,
Right?
there's no such thing as a cure-all, panacea.
So, as far as home remedies are concerned, there's nothing that's going to cure you. But if it makes you feel
If
a little
it makes
more
you feel
comfortable-
better, certainly go for it.
Okay.
When I was coughing, when I had the flu, I felt better if I had nice hot liquids to go.
Sure.
I don't know that it made any difference whether it was coffee or tea,
Right.
but if it was hot, it made me feel better.
Okay.
Certainly, lemon juice sometimes is put out there. The citric acid,
Sure.
high in vitamin C. But vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin.
So what I don't
the
use.
body can use about a maximum of 100 milligrams, and
Oh.
anything above that just simply goes into the urine, gets flushed out as waste.
From my understanding, is most of the time a cold, bad cold, even the flu, you're going to have to let it run its course.
Correct.
You're not going to feel good. Stay away from
Right.
infecting other people.
Right?
But when do you know, okay, now I need to go see a doctor because this may be a little bit more serious than what I can handle on my own?
Right. Well, one of the big things, particularly children, high fevers.
Okay? Above what temperature?
Over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Anything over 100 degrees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's an indication something's going on. You know, I don't worry about their 98.9. No.
Right.
99.3. I'm not worried about it. But when you get above 100 and certainly up to 101,
Right.
start thinking about that. Now, there's some
Okay.
things you can do at home to keep that fever down, and if it keeps the person comfortable, go for it.
Right.
So, Tylenol, great drug.
Okay.
You can give that, follow the package
Right.
directions, make sure you dose it appropriately.
Right.
Avoid aspirin. No aspirin with the flu.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty
What was the ailment that was associated
It's called
with
Rye syndrome,
Rye syndrome?
and can actually cause the liver to fail.
Okay.
And very serious, and
Okay.
can cause pediatric deaths.
All right. So that's very important.
And so it's very important. But if we can give a dose of Tylenol and fever comes down, kid feels fine. I'm fine by
Okay.
that.
Okay.
The other thing we can do to get temperature down is simply the old tepid bath. You know,
Not
you have somebody
comfortable,
that's
but-
have somebody that's healthy.
Right.
Because if you got a fever, you can't tell whether it's hot or not.
Right.
Test the temperature of that water, and it should feel just warm to the wrist. In other words, I could sit in this and be okay.
Okay.
And particularly children, you plop them in that bathtub and then just sponge them down,
Okay.
and it will get the temperature down.
But if that doesn't
And
work,
if that doesn't work, then it's time to seek
Time to see a
medical
doctor.
care.
what about for adults?
For adults, similar. Adults usually are less tolerant of fevers than children.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. If I get
Not in
100
my house.
If I get 102 fever, I'm miserable.
Yeah.
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 Whereas often you see a kid 102 and they're still playing. You go, why are you still playing?
Because I can't.
Because I can. I'm home from school. Yeah, this is
right.
great.
Okay.
The other thing we look at is respiration.
Okay.
You know, how fast are they breathing? Mm-hmm. You know, when we're sitting here, we're breathing probably about 12 to 16 times a minute.
Yeah.
You know, we get up 20 as adults, we're feeling pretty uncomfortable. We get 24 times a minute, we're feeling pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's what it means is we're not getting enough oxygen exchange, and so you're trying to get more air in, so you get
Right.
more oxygen, so your brain's happy. Brain without oxygen, not happy.
Right. Right. Clearly.
Now,
It's like
kids,
me without donuts. Not happy.
ooh, that's a whole nother topic.
It is. Probably shouldn't mention that to a doctor right now, should I? Anyway,
I'm sure it fits in the overall nutritional program somewhere.
that's another show. That's another show for another time.
But for a kid, you know, they often are breathing at 18, 20.
Right.
If I'm seeing a kid breathing 30, I'm a little more concerned. And certainly if I see a small child breathing at 50 times a minute,
Right.
that's a problem.
Clear indicator. Okay. Is there a source that we can access to give us some of these basic things, an online
Sure.
source, something where we can go to where when we have questions?
When you want to
it's
consult
happening-
Dr. Google, right?
Right. It's like sometimes going to WebMD gives you an erroneous diagnosis.
I
that
would
kind of
tell
thing.
you WebMD is designed to give you the worst diagnoses first.
Oh, good.
So you go searching headache, and the first thing comes up is brain tumor. Yeah,
right.
and it's actually the least common reason for a headache.
Okay, so how do we, as home doctors, taking care of ourselves, how do we access some good, reliable information?
And so you can go places like WebMD and look for flu.
Okay.
And what you get from WebMD is going to be correct if you can get to the right diagnosis.
Okay.
If you think you got the flu, it's probably the flu. It's very common this time of year.
Okay.
And again, symptoms, the fevers, the chills, the headaches, sore throat, body aches,
That's
cough.
the way it works.
That's the way it is, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, another good source is the Centers for Disease Control
Centers for Disease
and Prevention.
Okay.
The CDC website,
Okay.
and also the Virginia Department of
Virginia
Health.
Department of Health,
That's a
very good
VDH website.
Okay.
And then there's some big, well-known hospital clinics that have good
Okay.
information, like Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinics.
Sure.
They all
that
have
makes
great
sense.
stuff. If you're reading Susie Q's webpage on how to prevent the flu with home
Right.
remedies, I'd take that for what it's worth. It's
Sure.
Susie Q's website for
Right.
home remedies.
Maybe she didn't graduate
Yeah,
med school.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very,
Certainly.
very much. The information that you guys are bringing about this. First of all and foremost, calms people.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it. Sure, take it seriously.
Right.
There's no need to panic.
Yeah.
No need to get upset. But I really do appreciate the
Certainly.
common sense advice, helping us understand some of the things that are and are not going on. It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for stopping by. I look forward for us to have another conversation very soon.